Hey everyone, we're going to continue our discussion on area, perimeter, and circumference. So we want to look at a trapezoid. And trapezoid is an interesting shape because it's sort of a rectangle with two triangles stuck on the ends. And we can use what we learned in the quadrilateral chapter about the line that cuts through the middle, which is your median. And remember, it bisects both of your sides, both of your legs, and that will help us when we are calculating our area formula. Okay, so for perimeter, again, you're adding up all the sides, and let's call each of the legs leg 1 and leg 2. They don't have to be congruent. If it's isosceles, they will be, but again, they don't have to be. So we have leg 1 plus leg 2 plus base 1 plus base 2. So by adding all four of those sides together, you would end up with your perimeter. Alright, and to calculate area, we have to calculate the median. So your area is your median times the height. And if you remember, to get a median, it's base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. So it's the average of your bases times the height. Well, let's get some numbers here. So I'm going to say that my base 1 is 6, my base 2 is 10, and my height is going to be, let's say 5. Because that your height is always going to make a right angle, remember that you could use Pythagorean theorem if you needed to, but keep in mind height is always an altitude, so it's not the slanted height, it's an altitude, and has to have the right angle. Okay, so let's come up with our perimeter first, and if we say, I don't know, I'm just going to make up some numbers. Maybe length 1 is 5.5, or leg 1 is 5.5, and leg 2 is 5.5. Okay, so our perimeter would be 5.5 plus 5.5. Again, they don't have to be the same. And then plus base 1 plus base 2. So I have 11 plus 10 plus 6. So 21 plus 6 would be 27 units here. And for our area, we have to find the median first. So base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. So 6 plus 10 divided by 2. That gives me 12 divided by 2. Sorry, not 12. 16 divided by 2, which is 8. And remember that 8 is also directly in between 6 and 10, so there's a difference of 2 with each of those. So our median is 8, and we want to multiply that by the height. So we are going to multiply by 5, because that's what we said our height would be. And we end up with 40 units squared. So remember, area is always units squared. Alright, and that's it. So make sure that you can find your altitude, height, and that is perpendicular to a base, and then you also have to calculate your median. Alright, and finally, for a regular polygon, if you recall, for a regular polygon, all of your sides have to be congruent, and all of your angles have to be congruent. So each one, we can label as S, is going to be the same. So for a perimeter, you're just adding up all of your sides. Now we happen to have a 5-sided figure or a pentagon, but if you have more sides than what would make a pentagon, you would need to add all of your sides together still. So rather than adding 5 of your side lengths, you could add 6 or 7 or 8. So I'm going to write the formula this way. We have N times S. So N is the number of sides, and S is the side length. So in our case, our perimeter would be 5, because we have 5 sides, times, let's say each one is 6. So 5 times 6, which would give me 30 units. So our perimeter would be 30. For the area, we have an interesting way to think about this. It's 1/2, and there's this new word, apothem. 1/2 times the apothem, okay, times the perimeter. So when I say apothem, if you think about your polygon as having a center like a circle would, we can create a triangle, and you can actually draw in 5 different triangles in a 5-sided figure. So if we found the area of each triangle and multiplied it by 5, we would also get the area. So if I think about this shape here, if I draw in my altitude and I say this side is 6, and then each piece here would have to be 3 because we know it's isosceles, okay? We have to find what we call the apothem, which is the piece right in here where we made our altitude. Okay, so it's like the height of your polygon. That's my apothem, and the only thing that we know is that, well, my side length is 6 and it was split in half, and we also know an angle or two because we can use the idea that inside of this polygon there's 360 degrees in the center, and if you have 360 divided by 5 different sides, well, or 5 different angles, excuse me, we can find out how big each top angle would be. And so if we think about 360 divided by 5, well, 360 divided by 10 would give me 36, so 360 divided by 5 gives me 72. And then we see that each of those is actually split in half by this altitude. So the angle up top here is going to be half of 72, or 36 degrees. Okay. So to find your apothem, we need to go back to when we talked about right triangle trigonometry. And I'm going to redraw this triangle out here. So I have 36, I have 3, and I need to find my A, or my apothem. Well, from this angle up top, I have an opposite side and an adjacent side. And so I want to use TOA. So I'm going to say tangent of 36 is equal to, my opposite is 3, divided by my adjacent, which is A. And to solve, remember you can put tangent of 36 over 1 and cross multiply. So A is actually equal to the tangent of, okay, so you get tangent of 36 times A equals 3, and then we're solving, so A is equal to 3 divided by the tangent of 36. And 3 divided by the tangent of 36 is 4.1. Okay, so my apothem is about 4.1, and then I can finish my area formula because I just needed the apothem times the perimeter. So for area, we're going to have 1/2, because that's what you use for a triangle, times the apothem, which is 4.1, times the perimeter, which is 30. So we have 15 times 4.1, because I took half of 30, and that gives me 61.5 units squared. Now again, you could have found the area of one of these triangles, and then you would also have, so we say base is 6, so area of triangle is 1/2, base times height, base is 6, height is that 4.1, okay? And then you would have 5 of those triangles, so you'd multiply that area by 5 when you're done, which is the same as if you have the 5 times 6, that's the same as multiplying by 30 in your perimeter. So you can use either equation, either process. If it's simpler for you to just find the area of a triangle and multiply by the number of triangles you have, you're more than welcome to do that.